everyone, my name is Caitlin Newman.
And I'm Catherine McBee.
Welcome to this week's episode of What's Trending, your weekly update on the latest social media trends. This week, we wanted to talk to you about the Olympics.
NBC covers the Olympics every year on TV, and they have exclusive coverage. But this year, they're adding a new element to the mix, social media.
Most Americans are used to the many aspects of the games. The host, Bob Costas, will be back again, and figure skating and hockey are still going to be two of the most popular events.
In previous Olympics, they hadn't taken full advantage of streaming videos and using social media, so their multi-platform coverage didn't go very smoothly. But this year, they've decided to go all out and try it again. For more perspective on this, we talked to a communications professional here at Texas Tech.
All right, and now we have a special guest here with us today, Chris Cook. He's the Director of Marketing and Communications here at Texas Tech, and he's here with us for a quick little interview. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we wanted to talk to you about how social media kind of coincides with the Olympics and how that all plays out. How do you think NBC's exclusive coverage of the Olympics has set them apart?
I think the way it has with any network, you look at CBS is known for carrying the NCAA men's basketball tournament, and Fox has been a big player in the Super Bowl and the NFL. And so the NBC, it's kind of its bread and butter is the Olympics, and sometimes you look at Notre Dame football as well. But I think another way that they've added to that is by expanding their platform. They have the different channels now rather than for the longest time they had the one major channel and maybe borrowed a few others, but now they have this expanding network of channels that are offering more coverage.
Yeah, I think that's great.
So can you explain to us how social media works with worldwide coverage?
You know, I think when you have an event that is televised worldwide, any sporting event, especially the Olympics where there's so much interest in across the world because a lot of people are represented, a lot of different countries. How social media, I think, plays in that it's more of an opportunity for more people globally to engage, and especially if you're following certain hashtags or certain people, it gives you that opportunity to engage more globally as far as the Olympics go. If you look at the Super Bowl, for example, it is carried worldwide or in a lot of countries, but you may not have the engagement as you do, or the high level of engagement you may with the Olympics because of the different athletes from the different countries that are participating in the same sports as people from other countries.
Mm-hmm. So do you think since the Olympics, how they're fully embracing their multi-platform coverage and they're really going with the whole more is more because they're streaming events live online, I know figure skating has always been one of their main things. Mm-hmm. They always do great coverage about it. But now on top of just kind of covering it, they're streaming the whole competition online, semifinals and everything. How do you think that that's had an effect on how people watch and use social media with the Olympics?
Yeah, I think I don't know that it's necessarily changed the way people use social media, but I think it gives, again, it provides more live opportunity to use it. So anytime you have an event that's taking place, people are engaging in social media. It's the way it is now, and so the more opportunity there is to watch or view an event, the more opportunity there is to share thoughts on social media. So I think it has expanded the use of that somewhat.
Yeah.
With those opportunities, do you see any possible negative consequences of using social media globally?
I think social media always has a negative consequence, it seems like, unfortunately. Social media has no filter, and depending on the user. And so, I don't think I wouldn't say it enhances that or changes. I think that exists, period. But it does as events, and you have those upticks in the peak times of usage during these events, there is obviously more opportunity for negative to occur, but also the positive as well.
Speaking of how social media really doesn't have a filter, this Olympics, they're doing something different. The International Olympics Committee is kind of putting restrictions on what the athletes can and can't post. So basically, they just want them to post only positive things regarding the Olympics. How does that kind of change, and what does that do to affect the all the events surrounding the Olympics?
I don't think athletes, for example, are really affected by that. I think they're there on a mission. They have a focus, and that's to compete. And they've been training a long time. They're not. I don't think you're gonna see an athlete let the fact that they're censored a bit on social media affect their performance, because that's what they're there for. And again, all the hours and years of training that they've put in. But it is interesting that they've been asked to somewhat tone it down and keep things positive. But I can understand that. But at the same time, you're coming from a country that is very free in its expression. I can see how American athletes would have a little difficult time with that. But you are in an arena that there's so many different cultures involved, and whether it's a sensitivity to those cultures, or whether it's just the IOC wants everything to be positive. I don't know, but as far as the athletes, I don't think they're affected by it at all.
The biggest change in their coverage this year is the amount of coverage that they have to offer.
Exactly. But back before they decided to make any of these changes, Jim Bell, NBC's executive producer for their Sochi coverage, thought that their primetime ratings would take a hit when NBC decided to also stream everything live before the London Games.
Not only did their ratings not take a hit, but they went up. More people were watching for longer hours than ever before. So you can only imagine how creating an even bigger multi-platform coverage is increasing their ratings this year.
I think it could only improve their ratings. In previous Olympics, NBC wasn't able to exploit viral videos and missed out on many can't-miss moments. But for Sochi, NBCOlympics.com has all of those can't-miss moments.
And this is the first Olympics that NBC will be streaming to mobile devices, as opposed to previous Olympics when the only coverage they had, apart from television, was their desktop streaming.
Another element of NBC's platform coverage is their app, NBC Sports Live, where they will be streaming their Olympic coverage as well.
As an added bonus, they'll be streaming their entire coverage of the figure skating competition live on NBC Sports Network.
That's always one of my favorite events. So far through the Olympics, there's been a lot of buzz on social media. What originally started out as just something to document the troubles of journalists and athletes heading to Russia has turned into one of the most popular hashtags so far during the Olympics.
The hashtag Sochi Problems has been one of the top trending hashtags during the Games. It's even turned into the parody Twitter account, Sochi Problems, which has over 330,000 followers. Meanwhile, the Sochi Olympic Twitter account, Sochi 2014, only has 214,000 followers.
During these games, the International Olympic Committee has strictly enforced restrictions on what athletes are allowed to post on social media.
And this means that the athletes are only allowed to post positive things about the Olympics and use their social media accounts to promote the Olympics. In the past, athletes have been able to post freely throughout the Games, so this is a big change.
Definitely a big change, but it sheds more positive light on the Olympics, which may help to cover some of the controversies surrounding the Sochi Games. Well, that's all we have for today in this week's edition of What's Trending.
Remember to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Caitlin Newman.
And I'm Catherine McBee. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Go USA!
What's Trending is produced through the Outpost and the College of Media and Communication at Texas Tech University.